We are literally going to try and end every single van life worry that somebody might have watching this video. We're going to try and answer every single van life question and concern in one video.
What if you get ill?
If you get ill.
Isn't it boring after a while? Is it actually freedom? What happens as you get older?
Isn't van life expensive? Can you actually save money? What if you lose your van? Is van life safe? What if someone knocks on the van? Are you scared at night? What if you get moved on? What would you do? Is wild camping legal? Isn't it freezing in winter? Where do you shower?
So how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? I know you're on the edge of your seats asking. We're going to do a quick fire round. This is Reese's idea, all my life. So we're going to do like a quick fire question to try and rounds of all different categories to try and get through every single van life question that's ever been asked. Ever. So I'm going to ask Reese and he's going to answer all the questions and he's going to ask me, and in total there's 60 questions.
If you're thinking about doing this, or you've just started doing it, or maybe you are actually on the road and maybe some of these questions will help you, I have no idea, but hopefully this is going to help somebody
After
out
that,
there.
they're not allowed to have any questions
It's going to help
ask.
somebody out there, Emma, this.
Right, been on Mastermind this, right, you ready?
Round one.
Round one, right, so your first category is relationships. Don't you get sick of each other?
No.
Be very careful.
I know, I'm going to have to be careful here. Sometimes, but no, we don't really argue. That might be a personal relationship thing, but we don't really fall out. But if we do get sick of each other, we'll go for a walk or something like that.
Is van life lonely?
Is van life lonely? Not for us personally. I think van life can be lonely if you're doing it on your own. Some people are lonely, some people are not, but there's things like van life festivals and van life groups that you can kind of meet up with other van lifers and go in tandem and things like that. So you tend to meet friends on the road, but yes, I guess if you're on your own, it's something to consider. Maybe get a dog to keep you company.
Do you ever get cabin fever?
Cabin fever? What, being in a small space?
Yeah.
No, not me personally. I like having the small space in a van so that I've got my charger there, my kettle there, my little fire there, the mountain there.
We've had more cabin
beach.
fever being stuck in a house for the past few
I am
weeks, haven't we?
I am struggling like with being stuck, not being able to travel at the moment. That's causing me massive cabin fever.
What if you argue?
If you argue, now that's a good thing. So we've separated Romany into 2 separate rooms, so we've got our own space. Me and Emma very rarely argue anyway, but you've got to remember when you're doing van life, the outside world is literally there, like the mountains or the beach is literally there. So if you are getting sick of each other, you can go for a walk. Having your own hobbies is absolutely essential, or your own interests, if you are doing it in a couple, to be able to kind of do your own thing, I think.
Right, your next section is practical
Smash
life.
that.
What about washing clothes?
Washing clothes. So you'll find at most garages, or a lot of garages, you can put a fiver in a washing machine and a dryer and wash your clothes. I think they're on part for night, or you can just Google like washing machine. Obviously you've got your laundrettes as well, and we've got things in the van, you know, that you can wash clothes in, buckets, things like that, and we've got that wear thing, is it called, Emma?
That's it. Wait, look at you go. I'm impressed
I'm
with
firing
this.
and wear things. So there's lots of different options to wash and dry your clothes.
What if the van breaks down? Ooh.
If the van breaks down. Now, Romany, touch wood, has never ever let us down. In fact, I don't think we've ever, in the history of 14 years of doing van life, I don't think we've ever had a van break down, apart from one in Ibiza.
We did have one in Ibiza.
We had one in Ibiza and it cost us €1,000 in Ibiza to get it fixed. It was a clutch that went. So we have broken down, but just make sure you've got good recovery and good breakdown cover, that kind of thing. And especially if you're going to Europe, make sure it covers you for European breakdown cover. That is an absolute
And
must.
for staying in accommodation if they
And
take
for
your van
staying
off
in
you.
accommodation, yeah.
I'm helping you now, look, I'm helping you. What about Wi-Fi?
We just use our phone data. Can I just go back to that last question briefly?
Go
just
on, quick,
five more seconds.
Oof.
Obviously, the van is your home. So if you break down and that van gets put into a garage, where are you going to stay? It's something to bear in mind. Can you phone a friend, like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Can you go stay with a family member, something like that? So bear in mind, this is your home, and if my van breaks down, where's my home? And that's where like European insurance comes in, because they put us straight up in a hotel while we're out there, so that covered that. Wi-Fi, we use our mobile data unlimited.
There are other options though, aren't there?
But there are other options for Wi-Fi.
Which is very expensive, most of them.
Yeah, Starlink, things like that. You can look into stuff like that.
How do you charge everything up?
On my charger, Emma. A 3-pin plug. So we've got solar power on the top. We've got a lithium battery that Emma knows the numbers, but it basically keeps the van going. We are completely off grid in Romany, and yeah, so we've got 3-point plug that charges laptops, phones, everything, and then we've got sockets here as well.
Yeah, we've got
And
12
but
volt
you've got
sockets,
to actually
haven't
plug them in to charge them up. That's what I found, Emma.
we? What about cooking? Oh,
Cooking.
that's not a good question for you,
It
is it?
is, Emma.
Get your
I can
wife to
cook.
do it all.
So in Romany, we don't have any fancy setting, like proper setup cooker. Like I know a lot of vans do have that, but in Romany we have a little gas stove that runs on gas bottles, and then we have Lenny as well. So Lenny, we can cook things on top of Lenny. Jacket potatoes are especially absolutely delicious. And then yeah, obviously
Lenny's a good backup for if you run out of gas, isn't
Lenny's
it?
a good backup, and then
Yeah.
obviously you've got your cold foods as well. Like that, a lot of people forget that in van life that you can survive, can't you? Like you can survive off cold foods.
What if you get ill?
If you get ill, it's a problem. It's a problem in van life. We're lucky enough to have family, friends, places like that where we can go stay when we're really, really poorly. Obviously, we've got our Airbnb business as well, so we can at times go back to the cottage if it's really serious. But if you're just feeling poorly, like, and you've got a bit of a headache, hand on heart, I actually think the van is the best place to be, out in nature, breathing the fresh air in, maybe getting in some cold water, things like that. I find I tend to recover when I am poorly, or I don't really tend to get colds either because you're constantly out in nature. And yeah,
If you get a tummy bug, it's not ideal, is
it's
it?
not
But
ideal. You're going to need, in my opinion, you'd probably, yeah, it depends how you want to do that. Try and stay with a family or friend if you can. If not, that's a reality of van life, that is going to be unpleasant.
this is a kind of curveball one. How do you dry clothes?
Now, you don't put them on hedges like they do in Scarborough. If you've watched that vlog, you'll get that joke. How do you dry clothes? Well, these little laundrette things, they've often got a dryer at the side of them. If not, I mean, we're quite lucky again, since we've got Lenny, we can hang stuff up in the van and just dry them out that way. Likewise, when we're in Spain, we can hang things, you know, from like a thing, a rope thing to dry them. I wouldn't recommend getting a washing line out if you can help it. Like I said, you often see vans with washing lines and all the clothes are out and stuff like that. That turns into camping then, which kind of, it becomes a grey area then. But yeah, like laundrettes, things like that, or just try and dry your clothes inside the van.
What if you run out of water?
Find some more. Don't use a public tap. Don't use a public tap if you run out of water. No, if you run out of water, so we get a lot of bottled water from places like Morrison's, things like that. When you're in Spain, it's not a problem because there's just water taps absolutely everywhere, so you can fill up quite easily. But yeah, generally just like that's how we do it, is we tend to fill up using, you know, the big litre bottles. We've got a big tank in the back of Romany, so we just fill that up, and that then links up to our tap. But
Right, how do you
yeah,
keep
water's
food cold?
quite easy. How do you keep food cold? So we have two things in Romany. We have a fridge that we've got down there, and we also have like an old larder unit. Now this is quite clever. This was Emma's idea. So it's a cupboard. It's an old larder unit in the back there, and it keeps things cold. It's like your old-fashioned fridges. So because it's low down and we've got it over the wheel arch, it's basically permanently cold. Not quite as cold as a fridge, and you will struggle in places like Spain, Portugal, France, and when you're in hotter countries. But certainly in the UK, something like that will do you. If you can find like an old larder unit or something like that that's quite small and lightweight, then that can actually become your
I don't
fridge.
really get that this is a question.
Go
Where
on,
do you
Emma.
buy groceries? The same
From a
place as
shop.
anybody else
Yeah,
buys them
from a shop.
from.
But it is, so these questions, I'll just pause very quickly. These questions are all taken from general van life questions that we've had in the past, things like that. So that at some point that will have been one of the questions we've been asked. And yeah, just supermarket, like think of it as you would. Where would you go shopping? In your house, you know, do that. The only better thing about van life is that you don't tend to do a big shop, and that's just a dream. I hate doing big shops. I like to eat as I'm moving, like where we're going to go tonight, to get some food, and literally buy your meal for that day, basically, or at least a couple of days. But if you are wanting to do a big shop, yeah, just same as in a house.
Where do you get post delivered to?
Post delivered to? So that is a really, really good question that a lot of people struggle with. You can use families' addresses, friends' addresses. That's often recommended in van life. There are things. There's like companies that you can set
Them
up.
Dropbox things,
Yeah,
isn't there? We
Dropbox.
use a lot, don't we, with Amazon and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Dropboxes.
you can use that. But yeah, post is difficult. We use Amazon Dropboxes quite a lot. Yeah, but friends, family, like we're quite lucky that we've got friends kind of scattered all over the country. So if we're getting something delivered, then you know that can go to the nearest place, nearest friend or something like that. We're also quite lucky that we've got our Airbnb business. So obviously post, you know, what do you call it, Emma? Important post and registrations and things go there. But if you're not in that position, then yeah, I would recommend family, friend, something like that. It's probably the easiest way of doing it.
What about doctor's appointments?
Doctor's appointments, again, registering a friend or family. We are quite lucky again that we have the Airbnb business, so we can register from that. But if again you're not in a position to do that, family and friends seems to be how most van lifers do the whole registration thing. But again, there is a thing where you can do something where you can register with a GP on the move. I'm not sure what that is. It's a bit like a nomad thing.
I
Have a
don't
look
know.
into that.
We've done
I
it
don't know
abroad.
much about
You
that.
just go into, like, you can just go in anywhere abroad, can't you? And you know, like when you're abroad, and
when you're abroad,
you just go into any of them, don't you?
Any
Like
doctors.
the drop-in, like A&E
But in
places
the
and
UK, like registration.
and what they call them, what do they call them? Where you get, like, if you minor injuries clinics and stuff like that.
Minor injuries clinics.
What about prescriptions? I suppose that comes under the same thing. Just
It's all under
you
the
just go
same
pick
thing.
them up, wouldn't you, from your local?
I think the general thing here is, what if I don't have an address? I think that's the question. If you don't have an address, it starts becoming a little bit more complicated. And where I can only speak from experience of our position, but if you're new to van life and you're thinking, what am I going to do for an address? A lot of other van lifers do seem to use family and friends as that address for all that kind of stuff.
Can you do van life with a dog?
Absolutely. We've got a Daisy, we've got a naughty little Chihuahua. You can't get much naughtier than Daisy. If we can do it with Daisy, you can do it with any dog. Although, I wouldn't recommend getting like a husky in a van the size of Romany. I know some people do it. But that would be very kind of tight. But yeah, like a lot of people have little dogs. Like it kind of comes with van life, where most van lifers or a lot of van lifers have a little dog with them. It keeps you company, it keeps you occupied.
Can you do van life with children?
That's a good one, isn't it? I'm not sure you'd want to.
We've been there, we've done that.
Yeah, we so when our kids were younger, we had a big Mercedes Sprinter, and so we weren't doing it full time back then, but they quickly got bored of it. So we got the Sprinter so that we had the space for them to come with us, and they got bored of it. So that's something to bear in mind. Like, what is the reality? Are they going to get bored of
Depends
travelling?
what stage of life they're at. When they're little, I bet they'd love it. But teenagers, it's like they want to be with their mates,
A
don't
good
they?
channel to watch actually is Touring with the Kids. So they're a family that live on the road in a lorry, albeit in a lorry, but that's again something to bear in mind, is how much space are you going to need if you are doing it as a family or with kids. But yeah, Touring with the Kids, a good channel to watch if that's one of your questions.
Right, your next category is lifestyle, and I'm going to have to rush you a bit now,
I feel
Reese,
all under
because
pressure.
you're
I'm
starting
flustered.
to run out
Okay,
of time.
go.
Right. Isn't it boring after a while?
No, it's absolutely epic. It is the complete opposite of boredom. In my opinion, it's going to be very difficult for you to be bored, just because you can move wherever you want. If you fancy sleeping at a beach that night, go sleep at a beach, as long as it's not Scarborough. If you fancy going to a mountain view, go to a mountain view. Like, the world is literally your oyster. It is the opposite of boredom. It's that wanderlust feeling fulfilled.
Surely you'd get bored in a house more than you would in a van.
Yeah, absolutely. Houses are more.
Do you ever
boring.
regret it?
Not for one single second.
Do you miss having a house? Well, we do have a house.
We do have a house, but that's the business. I think that what that is like that mindset of do you miss not living in a house? No, not at all. I absolutely hate houses, like, or being stuck in one place. We spoke about it in last week's vlog, didn't we? Or Friday's vlog, where I'm just a nightmare. I get so bored. I've got constant wanderlust. Like, no, houses are definitely not for me. And you've got to look at why you're getting a house as well. Why have you got a house? You know, what is the mindset of that a van doesn't give you? And I could talk about that for hours, so I'm under pressure. But yeah, a van gives you everything a house does, in my opinion, and more.
Is it actually freedom?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, there's different ways of living a nomadic lifestyle, isn't there? And we've spoke about this before. You know, you can get a canal boat, you can get land, you can, you know, do camping, living in a tent, whatever it is. And I think van life for me is the closest thing to freedom you could ever possibly get. It's the speed in which you can travel. It's the choices that you have. Like on a canal boat, you're stuck to that canal. In a van, it's just like take your pick, you know, where do you want to park that night, where do you want to go, what country do you want to be in at that moment in time. Is the freedom of the open road is for me the definition of freedom.
Is it worth all the hassle?
Yeah. Well, it depends what you mean, hassle.
Don't know, that's just a question.
Is it worth all the
I
hassle?
suppose the meaning like doing your van up and trying to figure out all this other stuff that
Oh
you
yeah,
have to figure out.
100%.
Like, I'm
Because
guessing
that
it's that.
becomes part of your journey as well. Like the hassle of
And parking up
where
and
to
all
get
that
a
stuff.
shower, where to find a park, or where to. It becomes part of the journey, and you learn to love it. You learn to. That becomes your priority, which makes life really, really simple. Where you're going back to basics. Where am I going to shower? Where am I going to sleep? What am I going to eat? Like you go back to those primal basics of basic living, and it's so freeing. You know, you sort of end up going down a bit of a minimalistic approach with it.
Is van life still worth it in 2026?
Yeah, absolutely, it's still worth it in 2026. You get a lot of people saying negative things about van life, and you get a lot of doom and gloom and van life's ending. And as you know, if you've watched us before, we're literally the opposite of that. Yes, we will be truthful with you, and we will be real with it. But yeah, if you're thinking, oh, I can't start van life now because there's too many signs up, or you know, the powers that be at the top are ending it all. No, it's absolutely. If you're just starting out in 2026, there couldn't be a better time to start it, because it's just, yeah, it's becoming more and more acceptable, I think, at the same time as all that other stuff, but it is becoming acceptable. So
We've
yeah,
got the same issues that we've had since the 60s.
yeah, we've got
haven't
the same. The issues don't change. The year just changes. So 2026 is exactly the same as starting in any other year.
Your next section is future.
Love that.
Can you do van life long term?
Yes, I think you can. So people often say, like, is there an expiration date on van life? Like, how long can you keep it up for? You know, how long can you keep going living this way? And I think it becomes so enjoyable and so almost addictive to live on the road that you never want it to end. You know, we've met people on the road that are in the 70s, 80s, and they're still living on the road, they're still loving it.
What happens as you get older? It kind of links into the same
It does,
thing,
it's the
doesn't it?
same, so I'll just continue it. So a lot of people say, oh, you won't be able to do van life when you're older. And as I say, we're not that old yet. But I have met people in the late 80s on the road that are still living on the road. So yeah, in not a very big van either. Like some of them have really tiny vans, and they're in their 80s. And again, that depends on personal preference of what you want at that point in your life. But I do think you can 100% do van life forever, really. I mean, there's the thing of what are you going to do when you get old and you get ill, but I don't live my life like that. I never live my life thinking what's it going to be, because then you're missing right now. The most important thing for me personally is to live right now. You know, that's why personally I don't care about pensions and all that retirement saving up. Like I can't emphasize enough how much I really don't care about all that stuff. Like, it's about now, it's about the moment, and it's about if you want to do something in your life right now, do it. So I don't really think about that stuff, to be honest.
What about having children? I think that means like if you moved into a van and then you decide to have children later, or you get pregnant or whatever.
I think again, like, you know, our children are.
There's a channel that did that, isn't there? That couple that she got pregnant and then they carried on living in the van with a baby.
Didn't Travel Beans do it?
Yeah.
I'm sure Travel Beans did it. Check out Travel Beans. I might be wrong there, but I'm sure Travel Beans went through a similar thing that'll perfectly answer that question.
Is it just a holiday?
Absolutely not. No, it doesn't feel anything like a holiday. In the sense of, yes, we don't have to get up at 5:30 on a Monday morning to go to a job that we absolutely hate and detest. And so in that sense, I suppose it can feel a little bit like a holiday, especially when you're in Spain and Portugal, but it's a lot more real than that. You know, people go and spend silly amounts of money going to a hotel in the middle of Spain to all sit round a pool. You know, that's for me the first thing when you say holiday that comes to mind. This is the freedom of the road. This is travel. This is actually living it for real. You know, it's different.
Is it sustainable?
Long term, yeah, I think it is, because you end up not spending as much money. You end up in your own little routine that will forever keep going. You end up finding new routines that help you. You know, it's so adaptable in the sense that you can change it to fit your
You're going to have to
lifestyle.
hurry, Reese.
All right, I think that's answered that one though.
Right, that's it.
Next up we have Emma.
I'm under pressure
Right,
now
Emma.
because you've taken
Come
a
on, I
couple
know
of my
because
minutes.
I don't want this vlog to be 3 hours long.
Right, go on.
Right, are you ready?
Yeah, what's
So
the
your first
section?
category is money.
Right.
So these are all money worries about van life. Isn't van life expensive?
Well, it can be. It can be expensive. It depends what you're putting your money into, basically, and it depends. You spend as much as you want. You can buy a van for £1,000, and you can have a basic mattress in the back and do it like that. And you can buy a van that's going to cost you 60 odd thousand pounds, 70 odd thousand more. You know, go to America, they're massive. They can be hundreds of thousands of pounds. So it depends in terms of the van that you're going to buy in the beginning, and in terms of living in a van and the costs of living in a van. No, it's not expensive really. You're spending money on fuel, but you're going where you want to go because you're not driving to work and back every single day, and you're buying the same things that you would buy if you were in a house, food and stuff, but you're not paying gas and electricity and water rates and council tax, and so no, it's not expensive.
What if I run out of money?
Oh, that's an hard one. Well, just don't.
I love that.
If you run out of money, you just can't travel, can you? Do you know what I mean? If we end up where our funds are running a bit low, then you think about how far you're travelling, because the main expense is going to be your expense of your fuel, really, and on a day-to-day basis. So if you're running out of money, don't travel as far, hunker down for a bit, find some temporary work, make a bit of extra money up, you know, do some online work, or if you're abroad, maybe do some, you know, berry picking or whatever, bar work, whatever it is. Just find extra work and stuff if you need it, but otherwise just, yeah, day at a time, I suppose.
Can you actually save money?
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. You can save loads more money than you can in a house, because as soon as you earn anything in a house, the big chunk of it, you know, goes on your mortgage or your rent. So that's like, you know, that might be, especially rent nowadays, that can be like £900 a month for your rent. Then you've got your bills coming out of it, and before you know it, you're probably left with about, you know, 50 quid at end of month or something. So yeah, you a lot of your money is disposable income, so you're just kind of saving, and I think it's advisable to save because a van will not last you forever. So if it breaks down in the future, you're going to need money put to one side for it.
What if fuel prices go up like they have done now?
Like they have done, yeah. Travel less, plan your journey better, plan a little bit. We don't plan very well, but if you notice, we've not kind of flying off to different up and down the country at the moment because we can't afford to. So just maybe we like to go to cafes and stuff when we're in like towns and things like that. So we have to cut back on things like that so we can afford to put fuel in the van. So that's your thing, just plan your routes better, don't travel as much and spend less on other things.
Is insurance expensive?
Oh, that's an hard one. Yes, if you do it properly. We do it properly. Not everybody does it properly. There's kind of grey areas with it where people say, oh, I just pay as like a van because on my V5 it's a van. And that's fair enough. I think legally, I don't think that's like illegal to do, but the way that I would see it is that if you're doing it that way, you're not covering your van for the full cost. So then, therefore, if it gets nicked or it burns out or something bad happens, you crash it, whatever, you're not covered for what you've put into it. So if you're going to cover your van for what you've put into it and you're not converted over to being a motorhome on your V5, then you are going to have to pay for specialist insurers. There's a lot more of them about now than there used to be, but it can be very expensive and really subjective to each individual person. Like, it's weird how much it changes. You can have tons of no claims and everything and still be paying way more than somebody else. So yeah, insurance is expensive. Budget for it.
I'm worried if something expensive breaks.
Budgeting, saving, again, putting some money to one side all the time, because this is your home. Like we said before, you have to keep it moving. So maintenance is your best friend. Make sure that you are getting it serviced regularly. You're having, especially like not just once a year service, have interim service as well, so that you're doing it every 6 months. That's like a smaller service that you get done, but we do that. And if you're making sure you're doing that, then you're making sure you're keeping your van as like up to top notch as you can, and you're identifying problems early before they become big problems. But having some money to one side to pay for big problems, you've got a budget, you've got to think about that.
What if you lose your van?
How do you lose it?
Somebody might nick it, Emma.
I'm even like, you lose it, you don't know where it is. big balloon to your aerial, I don't know.
Somebody might nick it. You might wake up and your house has gone.
If it's gone, hasn't it? You know that, and that does happen to people. People have had, you know, one of our viewers had their entire van go up in flames, which actually then set fire to their flat where they were parked next to. So you know, you do have things like that happen. It's rare, thankfully. Thankfully, touch wood, we've never had that issue, but I know it does happen. I think get a good tracking system on your van. There's all sorts of new things you can do nowadays with like air tags and things, and hiding them in places in your van so you can track your van. You've got various means of tracking your van, because these thieves these days are really good at figuring out your tracking devices and taking them out and disabling them and stuff like that. So have various means of different ways of tracking, and hiding air tag things around in your van, stuff like that. If you're living in it, that's your thing. If you're living in it, you're in it anyway, so the chances of it being nicked is very slim, because you're in it most of the time, you know. Or even if you spend most of your time in your van and you don't particularly live in your van, and you've got a house and what have you, you've got an address like we do, then, you know, still making sure that you're spending a lot of time in your van is like a big thing. I can't really think of any. I don't know, what would you do? You'd just have to claim your insurance, wouldn't you? And you'd have to try and stay with friends and family.
I think there's ways of making sure that doesn't happen, that we're going to cover in a different blog of how to keep your van safe, basically. Here's the next one. Is van life, so it's safety now, your next category is
right,
safety.
Right, go
on. Is van life safe?
I think it's safe. I don't do it on my own, obviously. I have spent the odd night on my own in the van, but it's rare. But I've never felt unsafe. You go with your gut instincts. It's like anywhere else. Is walking to town unsafe? Do you know what I mean? Is like going out in your car on your own unsafe? Is it unsafe to get a taxi back after a night out? There's all those types of things that happen, and that, you know, that can apply to men and women, obviously. But I just think that you've just got to go with your gut instincts. You pull up somewhere you don't feel safe, you drive away. We have an agreement between us, me and Reese, that whichever of us feels unsafe, we don't have to explain it. We just drive away and we leave and go on to the next place. But I don't see that it's unsafe. It's, you know, you just pick where you park.
What if someone knocks on the van? What if you get the knock?
We've had that happen, but usually it's just somebody offering to bring you some like dinner. That's what it's happened for us.
Yeah,
it's usually a van lifer that's going,
we've
do you
never
want to share
ever,
a meal with us? But we've never had the knock to move on. No, stop answering me questions. We've never had the knock to move on ever. But we have had a knock on the door from, you know, people kind of just being nice, basically. If you get the knock to move on, just, you know, move on is by my advice. Don't argue it. What's the point? You know, just move on. Obviously, you know, if there's any reason that you can't because you're too tired to drive or whatever, then you'd have to explain that. But in my view, if I got the knock, I'd just move on.
Absolutely fabulous answer, these, Emma. Absolutely smashing this. Oh God, I've lost my space. Hang on.
Come on, you're taking me time.
What if someone breaks in? Presumably while you're in the van.
While you're in it, I don't think anybody would break in while you're in the van. I mean, people are wanting to break into a van. They're wanting to break in because they're wanting a quick and easy thing out there. They're wanting to nick your van and be quick and simple. So if somebody broke in while you're in it, just make a lot of noise, and they're going to do one out there. They're going to run off. You know, if you have kind of any kind of threatening things around you, which we have had on occasion outside, where you felt a bit like unsafe with it or whatever, and thought maybe they're going to break in, then just, you know, we've got a door to allow us to get straight into the front so that we can take off and drive off if we need to. So but if you have a break in when you're not in it, then you just have to go through your normal stuff that you go through with police, wouldn't you? Report it, you know, what have you.
Are you scared at night?
No, not in the slightest. It's probably the safest and most relaxed that I actually feel. I often feel less safe when I'm in the house. If we go back and we're staying in the cottage, like, I feel less safe because I feel like, oh, if I check door, is it locked? And, you know, and like what's going on outside, like there's noises outside, like, because you're not expecting that sort of stuff when you're in a house, like noises and stuff. But when you're in a van, you kind of learn to expect that you do get noises, people walking the dog, walking past your van on a night time or in the morning, or, you know, somebody's pulled up and they're being a little bit rowdy or whatever. You just expect those kind of noises. But I've never felt unsafe as such. I suppose on occasion I have felt unsafe. It's been rare, and I'd move if I did. So. Is
it true that you are perfectly legal to stay in your vehicle, to sleep in your vehicle?
Yes, yeah. Parking in your vehicle is perfectly legal to do. And it depends on different countries as well. Every country has different rules, but in the main, it's don't camp. So that means that basically don't allow anything else from your van to touch the floor. So your wheels can touch the floor and that's it. Nothing else extruding from your van, if you know what I mean. So like no steps that kind of stick out your van, no steps on the outside of your van on the floor, no awnings out, whatever. As long as you stick to all those sort of rules, then basically you are then just sleeping in your van, and it is perfectly legal to sleep in any vehicle in order to rest so that you can be capable of driving again the following day.
What if you park somewhere dangerous?
Move. Move. Right, next question.
What if you're travelling alone?
There's things you can do if you're travelling alone. We have covered this in other vlogs briefly. Sorry, I sound like I've had a drink and I aren't. It's my illness as I keep slurring things a bit. If you say the question again, Reese, because my brain's gone now.
What if you're travelling alone?
Yeah, so basically there's things that you can do for that. So I always say if you're a woman travelling alone, then, or even I suppose if you're a bloke travelling alone, do the same thing. Put a pair of big shoes outside your van and leave them just under your van when you park up, as if you've taken your shoes off when you get in. Just put them slightly under your van, pick them up from a charity shop or whatever, like a big pair of men's shoes. Then it looks like you've got some big burly bloke in your van. I mean, you might be a big burly bloke in your van on your own and you might be fine with it, but I think even then it puts people off if they see that you've got somebody big in the van that's going to protect the van. It kind of is, you know, it's a psychological thing in it. Also putting like fluorescent jacket like flung over your front seat, that can make it look like you're like a builder, a worker in your van. Think little things like that you can do if you're travelling on your own to just kind of feel safe. And sharing your location, make sure that somebody in your family or friendship group knows where you are parked up every day. Me and Reese do that every time. We let our kids know exactly where we're parked up, and you can do that 360 thing. It's like an app you can get where you can share your location with other people. We've got that with friends as well, so that they know where we are all the time. Next
category is parking, Emma.
Right.
Where do you sleep?
In my bed. What do you mean?
I think it probably means, I think it's probably from one of our viewers, I think it's probably as in where's our bed?
Oh, where's our bed? Oh,
Yeah.
so our bed drops down from the back. So we basically, it's the wall that is halfway across the van, the wall, and the wall sort of unhooks and drops down, and then our bed's in the back there. So we've got like a king size bed in there. Does it mean that, or does it mean like where do you sleep as in where do you park?
It might do, but we've actually got, so that the next question is, can you park anywhere?
Ah, right, okay, right. So parking, yeah, basically, as long as there's no signs, if there's signs that state that you can't park there, then we just basically move on. We keep it really simple and we just move on. But if there's, technically there are things around that. You can watch one of our previous vlogs that we've done about that, because there are things around, like if it doesn't tell you what the fine's going to be and doesn't give you details of that, then they can't really fine you, and there's all that type of stuff. And then there's signs that are council signs, signs that are not council signs, and the private signs. There's all sorts of stuff. You'd have to watch a separate vlog on that because there's that much on it. But generally, you can kind of, there's loads of places that you can park. I mean, you can't park everywhere, can you? You can't just pull up on somebody's driveway and park up. But you know, there's loads of places that you can park. Laybys, go on Park for Night, use that. There's different parking apps that you can use. That kind of, what is it? Park for you, your parking space,
Yeah,
something
my
like that we've
parking
used
space,
before.
yeah.
Where there's different supermarkets and stuff like that you can park it. There's loads of places to park, and obviously that's the UK. If you're
Gonna have
looking
to rush you, Emma.
if you're looking at abroad, there's loads and loads and
Gonna
loads
have
and
to
loads. Go
rush
on.
you. What if you get moved on? What would you do?
Well, just move on. Just move
Yeah.
on. If you get moved on, just find somewhere else. Yep.
How do you find your overnight spots?
Park for Night and your parking space, and there's another one, but I can't remember what they call it.
Park for Night's the king, innit, really?
Park for Night's the king, yeah, that's really what you use. Or just having your own, you build up your own catalogue of places that you go to. Yeah, go on.
Is wild camping legal?
Oh, I think that's more of a you question.
Yeah, shall I answer this one?
You're going to have to jump in, because I don't know. I'm going to lose a point now on that.
You've lost a point. So, yes, wild camping is illegal in England. It is legal in Scotland, but for Scotland, that camping law for Scotland to be legal does not include your vehicle. So it is illegal to wild camp anywhere in England or Wales. However, it is perfectly legal to sleep in your vehicle. So as long as you're not camping, all you're doing is sleeping in your vehicle.
Oh, I could have answered that as well, couldn't I? Go on. feel
What if
like I've just
what?
dropped £1,000,000. Go on.
This is an interesting one, and I think I know what this is. What if every car park is full? Now, I think that is based off of the supermarket car park app.
Ah, right, okay. So, well, if it's full, you'd just have to find somewhere else, wouldn't you? It's
Yeah,
quite
a
simple. Like,
lay-by.
are these seriously questions that people
Yeah.
ask? If so, you can't park in one that's like your parking spaces within like Wicks and sort of Sainsbury's and those types of places. It'll tell you if there's a space there in that you can pay in advance for it. However, I have done that before where I've paid in advance before I've got there, and not in like Wicks and stuff because there's always space, but in some of the smaller ones that you can park in, I've paid, I've got there, there's been nowhere to park. And it's been full because somehow the app doesn't update with the parking spaces because it's not like electronically done somehow. So I always wait until I get there and I pay at that point. I don't pay until I get there and see if there's a space. And obviously, if there isn't, just move on and find a different space. Next question.
Oh God, hang on. All right. Next. Oh, it's the next category. Comfort. Comfort.
Right.
Isn't it freezing in winter?
Yes.
Not with Lenny, it's
No,
not.
now we've got Lenny. So before we had Lenny, it was freezing in winter. But it's what you get used to, innit? It's like, you know, when you turn your central heating off, and you kind of like, if you're out like we were when we were in the house, you didn't want to like use too much money on central heating. So I would say, come May, it goes off, and it doesn't go back on again until November. And then you get to like kind of, you know, October, and it starts to get a bit colder. And if you get used to that, you're just fine, you get used to it. But it's like if you keep your central heating on throughout the summer, you get used to that, and then it's really hard to then cope without it. So it's a bit like that, if that makes sense. So we've got Lenny, we've got used to using him. We'd now really struggle in the winter to do without him. But before, we used to manage with just like heated plug-in blankets, electric blankets on 12 volt, plug them into the cigarette lighter charger. We used to have that on the floor, like underfloor heating. We used to put it under a rug. We'd have one on the chair as well, put it under there, and then we'd have one in bed. So that kept us warm. We'd have hot water bottles. We'd have candles with like a kind of a pot over the top of them. So there's all sorts of different stuff that you can use to keep yourself cosy and warm. Next.
Next one's the opposite. Isn't it too warm in summer?
It can be very hot if you're in Europe in the summer. I do want to look at possibly getting some kind of aircon system put in here because I would like that. I think that would be so much better if we've got aircon in here, but they use a lot of battery up. So at the moment, we've just got the fans. We do have a plan to fit something new that isn't going to be as costly as aircon, that will hopefully help to kind of keep us cool and keep the airflow going. But at the moment, we've got the two fans. We have one on in, one on out. That circulates the air. But obviously, if the air outside of your van is red hot, then it's going to be red hot in it. So it's just a case of trying to keep yourself as cool as possible by parking in shade. But then that affects your solar. So it's kind of, yeah, it is quite warm.
Where do you shower?
Where do we shower? So we shower at service stations, swimming baths, gyms. Don't do gyms as much, but we have done them in the past. Just anywhere really. Services is the main one that we use. Sometimes on a beach, if you get the free beach showers on the beach where the cold showers, because it's red hot abroad, you don't mind getting a cold shower. We also do have a shower set up in the back that we can use. But in all honesty, since we've set that up, we have very rarely used it because it's just like there's not much point. We don't really need it. But you can use it, you know, we can do if we want to, but yeah.
It's worth. I'll just jump in there, not to lose your point, but just to say every single service station has to
yes.
offer
So
you a
if
shower.
you go to, it's usually WH Smith's in the UK, and they have to offer you to be able to have a shower. It's like a legal thing if you look it up. And so when you go in and you say, "Can I have the key to the shower?" you'll just hand over your van keys. They will hand you a toilet key, and then you'll go and use the shower. A lot of the time, the men's ones are already open, but the women's ones you often need a key for. But then they're often a lot cleaner. So there you go.
Don't you miss a proper bed? I think I would miss my proper bed.
We don't. I mean, Reese has done at times where he's wanted to have like a fixed bed, where he can just kind of get into it. But I always say, like, it swings and roundabouts in a van. You've got to sometimes sacrifice one thing to get another. If we had a fixed bed in here, that would take up most of the space, and it would have to be like a smaller bed, and we'd have to lay that way in order, like across the van, in order to not take up too much space. But because we've got it the way we've got like a super king size bed. Basically, it's bigger than a king size. It's not quite a super king size, but it's in between, and that's because we've got it where we have to make it up. But it literally takes like 2 minutes to make it up. I don't miss having a normal bed, because what is a normal bed? It's somewhere that's comfy. I struggle laying on anything. It doesn't matter what mattress I have. I'm always in pain. I always struggle. I've gone through about 10 different mattresses. It makes no odds. So really, for me, it doesn't make any difference. For Reese, I think he'd like a fixed bed.
Doesn't it get damp?
No, not if you do your insulation properly. If we've had a couple of little leaks on one of the fans, which we need to sort out, which can make it then feel a little bit damp. You can feel a bit humid sometimes if you're in like a hot country. It can get a little bit humid, especially if like you're drying clothes inside or things like that. So you're better off drying clothes outside if it's humid. You know, if it's red hot, but that's just common sense, I suppose. But no, it doesn't. It never feel. I don't ever feel like it feels damp unless you've left it for a while. That's something I've noticed. If you leave it for a while, it tends to feel a little bit damp, like, you know, in the air. And I think that's because there's just no ventilation. Ventilation is your friend, and also insulation is your friend.
What about weather like storms, or if it snows and you get stuck?
Have got stuck quite a few times when it's snowed with stuff. Snowed or rained and we've been on fields and got stuck on fields and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind getting them track things you can put out for snow. That would be probably helpful to have something like that we don't have, and you can pick them up for about a tenner on Amazon. They just kind of roll out. If it's stormy and stuff, just buckle down, like, do you know what I mean? Just like huddle down for the night and get past it all, and you know.
I'll tell you a story about storms, lightning.
This comes off my time, no?
Yeah, that's the final question.
All right, okay.
So we're all right. We're out up in Scotland one year, right, and it's absolutely thundering and lightning, like proper storm. I'm just drifting off to sleep like that. So I wasn't thinking properly at the time, and Emma went, "Oh, just to let you know, whatever you do, don't touch the sides of the van." And I don't know what made me think about it, but I took that as like being, and I was like, "What do you mean?" She went, "Well, if you touch the sides of the van, it'll electrocute you."
Because there was a thunderstorm
Because there was
going
a
on at the
thunderstorm.
time.
So I'm laid like a log all night. I didn't sleep a wink with my eyes wide open, trying to force myself to stay awake because I was absolutely terrified in case I touched the van. Absolute dipstick.
The funny thing was, I never set him straight about it. I just laughed about it to myself, and I found it really amusing. And then a year later, he brought it up. He said something like, "Don't touch van or something."
I said, don't touch the van.
And I went,
It's horrible to me.
What are you on about? He was like, "You said that last year." I said, "We're only a joke."
Horrible to me. So hopefully that has covered the majority of your van life worries, your van life questions, your van life concerns. Obviously, we're not travelling at the moment because little Daisy's still recovering. So we're actually in the cottage. We're moved out of our friend's place. We're actually in the cottage now for just a couple of days. And then we've got bookings in the cottage, because obviously that's our Airbnb business. And then hopefully at that point, Daisy will be ready to get back in the van. We won't travel far with her at that point. We'll just get her back used to it and see how she gets on in the van. But yeah, if you've got any questions about van life,
we could have literally done a vlog on each one of those questions, more or less. So if there is anything where you think, "Oh, but you haven't answered my question enough, I wish you'd have expanded on that," or whatever, just stick it in the comments. We'll probably be able to direct you to a vlog that we've done before about it. If we haven't done one about it, then we can do one about it. And there is one burning question within all those that we haven't actually answered.
We haven't actually answered it, yeah, and that's going to be Fridays. That's going to be Friday's vlog, hopefully, and it solves the biggest van life problem in the UK that we talked about. Some of you remember on a vlog before, and we've got the solution for it finally.
I just want to say though, I think we should add up like how many minutes we've both done on those questions. And I think that if whoever's gone over for however many minutes you went over, you should lose a point. I'll lose one because you answered one of my questions. But then we should, and then somebody should have to do a forfeit.
You'll have to do a forfeit. Last time you did a forfeit, you had to do a snow angel in your bikini. So
last time you did one, you were on a bridge with a kettle, reading a poem out.
So yeah, if you've got, like I say, if you've got any questions or anything like that, but it's been hard as this. We wanted it to be a vlog that would just quick fire to cover the majority of van life concerns and van life questions to kind of, so that if you're sat there worried thinking I can never do van life, hopefully now you're a little bit more
I feel like I've been
reassured.
A mastermind. I'm drained, Reese.
But yeah, I know I am. But if you have got any questions about van life, we'll do our best to answer them in the comments, and our lovely community and our lovely viewers will obviously jump in and help as well. So thank you so much for watching. And,
don't forget to hit the hype button thing. You get 3 of them every week.
And if you do want to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that it'll let you know if we put any extra vlogs out or out like that.
There's your homework.
There's your homework. Right, thank you very much for watching. Keep writing your own story. Bye.